What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the show that I created for those who seek for the best quality result all the time when it comes to a man grooming industry here in the UAE. Together with my crew at this episode, we decided to talk all about scalp micropigmentation. So SMP, it's very interesting treatment nowadays everybody concerning about. We will try to take you journey to talk about all its value, risk, who can do it, who should avoid it, and all other questions might come to your mind. This is a Skills Talk, and that's Barber Mo. My name is Mohammed Mir Ibrahim, aka Barber Mo. I run one of the top-notch quality brands in the grooming industry here in Dubai. It's called Skills by Barber Mo. You can go and check it out. As well as with a close to decades of a serving the market here with multi-awarded and one of the most unique recognitions as well from the government and a lot of hair products companies. So therefore, we managed to satisfy countless clients when it comes to all kind of treatments that exist. Because of my philosophy ever since I born that I'm the guy who inspired change and he start from himself. When I changed myself, I managed to change the environment around me. And when I change the environment around me, everything else will change. So I brought it to my handcraft and I brought it to my career and now to the marketplace with the same philosophy so that we seek always for change. We are the people who manage to do always the extra miles in order for the people to have the value of each and every service that they choose. What is SMP? A scalp micropigmentation. It's a treatment that was created to help the people to create much more density when it comes to any exist result, whether you're totally bald or you have had a hair transplant, head injuries, alopecia, spots alopecia. So that's the right treatment that has been created for those who really wants to change their lives and they are looking for an easy solution that can help them to have their confidence back, as well as can help them to add value for whatever exists or left hair on their head. So that's actually all about the SMP. Here on my right, I have my artist, Francis. He's the guy who come to me a couple of years back looking for a job, and then I found on him the talent of being tattoo artist. And therefore, I employ him for the sake of partnering together for a bigger future, inspire him to get the best out of his job so that I managed to change his view and from being tattoo artist to be stylist, from being stylist, how he can mix the two together, and then he's now become a SMP practitioner. He mixed the three now together, the tattoo and the SMP and the hair grooming skills that he get in order for him to change people's life. And when he changed his life, he changed people's life. My life as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it will definitely change. On my left, I do have my guy, Kevin Dale. He's the guy that him and we used to work together. I also discovered his talent on the IT and the computer work, but his background is a certified nurse. And together, ever since I built Skills, we worked all the time to seek for the extra work when it comes to its risk factors, benefits. So every time we do have a launch treatment, or we engaged on new activities, or we have any customers concerned, we take it too serious and we study day and night until we improve it or we get its answer in order for the value to be created, and then we deliver it to the marketplace. Welcome to the show, guys, and let's get to work. So they'll tell us what is SMP and what is its safe side, what is its value, and does it has any risk from a medical side if somebody wanted to do the treatment?
Hi guys, my name is Dale. Thank you for your question, Mo. It's actually considered one of the most safest and least amount of risk comparing to the most famous treatments that you see nowadays like transplant, ERP, graft. So this type of procedure is considered non-surgical, non-invasive. Mm-hmm. You don't really go penetrate to the scalp, so it has least amount of risk factors considered. SMP, it's considered as a semi-permanent cosmetic procedure. So it's a process of applying pigments similar to tattoo, wherein you replicate similar to natural hair follicles, which makes the hair, especially if you have like bald spots, to make it more firmer, more denser, so that you can have proper volume on the distance.
Awesome.
Basically, that's everything.
So if you answer that to me on the phone, which is what you do here with skills all the time, you always pick up the phone and that's the answers that you're giving to them. I'm really proud of that. I trust that you've become like really far.
Yeah.
That is awesome actually to know from its medical side, most especially for who doesn't know it. Francis, tell us about the difference between the scalp micropigmentation and the tattoo. So when it comes to that, there is a lot of people who have concerns like, should I do it? Is it going to be similar to the tattoo? It's very risky. So tell us about the difference between the tattoo treatment and the SMP treatment.
Hi guys, my name is Francis. For the traditional tattoo, we use bold lines, bigger needles, and we go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And we use charcoal-based pigment. For the SMP, we use small needles, fine lines, and we go minimum 2 millimeter on the skin, and we use carbon-based pigment.
That's awesome. So basically, that's kind of like a huge difference in between the two, because at most of the time, when you go older, the natural line that we've got in our forehead, it drastically started to go way back, and that brings a lot of concerns. Like if I do tattoo and then the tattoo started to spread, well, actually, when it comes to the tattoo, one of the hardest treatment for you to remove in case if you change your mind and does not fade in a way that the scalp micropigmentation treatments faded. So for that reason, if you choose to do tattoo, by the time it will be spreading, it will be fading, and that will cause you a lot of pain in order for you to remove it. But if you choose to do the scalp micropigmentation, it's a treatment was made particularly from a clinical base where it can be faded by the time, while it will give you good 2 to 3 years of nice looking, and probably by the time you can do for it touch up, and if you decide to not have it anymore, it will be a lot less pain and a lot quicker for you to remove it. So now from a medical perspective, there is a lot of people get scared about the needling, Dale. So that is, I think, one of the most common question on my barber chair. Like
I do have a lot of questions.
like how I'm going to deal with it. That is needles going to go inside of my skin, and their concerns is quite high. Like I will be bleeding, and maybe I will have couple of days on the bed or whatsoever. So enlighten the people and tell them what's the procedure look like, and what are the needles, why it's friendly to the skin, and why it's safe to do.
Yeah, I'm very happy to answer all of these misconceptions because I have this question a lot actually. In our skin, we have 3 layers. So when we do SMP, so we go on the second layer, but on the topmost. We don't go too deeper. By then, we don't hit any blood vessel that can cause like more bleeding. So for some people, tattooing, they go more deeper underneath. So that's why, if you can see, it's more highly risk for pain, number 1. And for the bleeding, because when they go through deeper on the dermis, which is the second layer, they hit a lot of blood vessels and sometimes they cause bleeding. For SMP, it's very rare because they're using shallow depth. As I mentioned, 2 millimeter only, and it's on the top of the second layer. So that's why it's only shadowing. It doesn't really have any long-lasting impact. And again, as he mentioned, that tattooing traditional, it's using charcoal-based pigments, whereas for SMP, they're using more like carbon-based. So through laser process, it's more easier to remove because tattooing is made to be like at least permanently.
Yeah, I agree. As well as Francis, like when the people using the SMP, we are more on booking. Technique is different, the needle is different, the ink base is different as well, and the whole entire procedure as well is different. So for that reason, the positioning actually, Francis, like once we are doing the micro pigments, the positioning is different, right?
Yeah, for the techniques, we use like for the SMP, we use like pointillism. And but then for the tattoo, we use a lot of techniques. That's the way different.
The moment that we put it as a pointing, therefore, actually, that's keeping the result on its place for longer time. Like, even though for like a couple of years can really stay and never spread, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So for those who have concerns, like, is it going to be like the tattoo spreading by the time, or looking like a little bit ugly, or having spots, which is, we've encountered a lot of people who did it, and then they would have to really go through a very difficult laser treatment in order for them to reduce or remove the maximum that they could. And then after that, we would really have to rework it out one more time with the scalp micropigments in order for us to recreate for them the density one more time and give them a much better outcome. So now the other very interesting question that I always got from the people who come to me, most especially when we were doing our research as well, we've viewed a lot of reviews and concerns for people who saying, am I allowed to do it, not allowed to do it? So there is a lot of concerns. Now, for those who wants to enjoy it, I can tell you, just go and do it. And we do have the answer, actually. Most especially, here is one of our crew that who have a medical background. He always do all this checking that it's needed in order for us to really advise you the best. So yes, you can do it indeed, unless if you suffer of a couple of different diseases, which is we're going to cover them. So what are the diseases, Dale, that, or say like kind of like a skin problem and the blood disease that is stopping people from doing the microscalp pigmentation?
The contraindications for SMP is a way for us to make sure that the clients is safe. At the same time, we make sure that the results are in its best shape. However, for some cases, it's not advisable for people who has blood-related disorders, like anemia, you can say. People who are immunocompressed or has very weak immune system, because their healing will be a bit much of a problem. Secondary to that, skin problems or with active infections like psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, as well as people who has history for keloid formation. So if you consider all of these factors, you can see it's all about related to the immune system, the healing. Similar to the tattoo principle, you need your skin to be well rested and safe for that to give the best result. So all of these conditions related will not be they will not get the benefit out of what we give them, because it will actually put them on the risk. So
agree. So actually, from that perspective, therefore, that's what we always say. Come to the consultation. Physical consultation, it's really mandatory, because you're going to help us to analyze and ask all the questions that it's needed, other than checking on the canvas. So once we are checking your scalp, as well as we could be advising you much better to do it or not to do it. But all the time we say, book your consultation first. Get to know the artist, get to know the team, get to know the people that they're going to serve you. And also on the spot, try to be the person who's very transparent and answer all the questions that has been given to you. Because the more that you help us to give us a good answers, a transparent answer, the result, it will be appear accordingly. One of the most, struggling points for the people who's doing it, and the most common question, how long does this procedure take? And how long that can last. That is the things that we all the time try to cover. So for its longevity, I think from how long usually that this can last the people? I think good 3 to 4 years they can be looking good, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so good 2 to 3 years you can have peace of mind of doing it, as well as you can just come back for touch up. So now we have a lot of people also have a question, guys, most of the time. Is it going to be too long for me to recover and go back to my normal life? How long I have to stay on the bed? Those kind of very important questions for the one who's watching us, what we can answer them, how we can help them.
So for people who just finished doing their SMP with us, so we usually send them a proper detailed guideline on how they can manage it, since it's very important, for the recovery and the progress. So what we advise usually is on the first 3 days, this is the most crucial one, because they need to maintain from touching, scratching, or any sort on the scalp. So they're not allowed to do any strenuous activity, because this could lead for more blood circulation and can open the wound, damage to the pigmentation or the healing, as well as you're not allowed to do any sort of going to the beach or any UV rays activity, because again, your skin is still on recovery stage. Only on the 4th day to the 5th at maximum, by then you can gently wash your scalp, because you need to have the flaking on a natural way. You don't need to push it, because by then you might cause like open for inflammation and infection, which is like an open wound, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I would not advise people to keep on continuing their normal activity until the 7th to 8th day. Because you need to check yourself, you know, you need to check if
Yeah,
the wound is
logically, yes. Logically, you really have to always look after yourself and try to have an analyzing day-to-day basis. But again, in a long story short, so basically it's a treatment that is going to be a span of 6 weeks. So within the moment that you leave the place after your treatment finish, you can go mind your own business. Absolutely does not look horrible, and you don't have to cover your head. You can go to your meeting, you can do whatever you want, but you have to avoid those kind of a sunlight, as well as the extra shampooing or whatever cleansing that you're using. You have to avoid touching your head basically. But yes, it's not a treatment that once you get it done, then you would have to stay on the bed for 1 month or covering yourself. You can go mind your own business next day, avoiding that little activity for 48 hours, 72 hours. Then after that, you're going to be relaxed. Am I correct, Francis?
Yes, that's very correct.
And for those bad guys, we call them, who don't stick on the advices that we give them or the guidelines before the scalp micro done or after. So how important is to stick with the advices that we really give you all the time before your treatment?
First of all, before 24 hours, we advise our client not to do tanning or caffeine, alcohol, and take good rest.
Yeah, have some good sleep as well. And then the after result all the time, again, don't drink immediately coffee. That's very important. Also, still avoiding alcohol for the first day at least, as well as hydrate yourself as much as you can. Avoid scratching, sleep well. And from a medical perspective, why you think now, some people think like, how did we manage to get these parameters? Now, from medical perspective, why do we advise that, Dale?
Well, let's say because when you are intoxicated with alcohol or with caffeine or any like blood thinning like aspirin medications, so it thins the blood as it's defined, and it makes it more hard or difficult during the process, to reduce like swelling or bleeding. And we also advise them to not go too much with activities. We want them to have like full rest. And actually, the most important advice that I would add is hydration, because hydration is the most important thing for the skin integrity. So at least also when the pigment will subside, it will be as perfect as it is. When we do our part in giving the result, it's always the part of the clients to be very strict on themselves in order for them to enjoy, make the service more like pleasing. Because if you have full rest, you have light meal as what we send to our full guidelines, it will make the process more smoother. Because I have a lot of clients that they're very irritated, or they didn't take much sleep, so it makes it hard for, especially Francis, you have that case before, right?
Yeah.
I encounter for that one, like when we're doing the session, he move a lot, so mostly I will focus to him.
Yeah, basically, if we can make it easy for everyone, that the more that you are helping us to help you, so that is going to make the things easy on everyone. Because also as a SMP practitioner and artist, when he's working, remember that your head is the canvas. So if you put it in front of artist and he's trying to paint something, then definitely the finishing is not going to be as expected. So sticking with the guidelines that we give you before and after can affect you directly in two important things. First of all, the overall result. Secondly, while he's working during the session, the more that you avoid that, your bleeding will be a lot less, and your pain tolerance will be a lot more high. So your calmness is going to help the outcome, because remember that we are using small needle and we are working around the pores. So we have to create certain density in somewhere. If something goes wrong in many different times, then you're going to find the spots here and there. That is very important for the before. And then for the after, at most of the time, once you don't follow the healing procedure guideline, the outcome between the sessions is not going to be as it should be, and therefore is going to affect the decisions about what we're going to do from this session onward. It's going to be also a bit difficult, because overall we always call it, I always say this to my clients, even when it comes to the haircut. So even though it's kind of like a hair treatment to be done or haircut to be done, I always call it's a project. So there is a part on us, and then there is a part on the customer or the clients, whoever choose to come and get the service done. Your collaboration and the way that you follow our guideline, it's always important and mandatory because it's a project. So it's not one click and one go and everything gets settled. So all the time it's between what you do and what I do, how I guide you, how you stick with it. So together we can build the best outcome. And again, it's just 6 weeks and you're going to look your absolute best. So usually between the sessions, so what the people can expect when it comes to the result. So most of the people come and they're worried like how long I need until the result appear on me. So how long usually it takes for the result to appear?
It will appear in the first session. It will appear like 30% maximum, because in the first session we do the reconstructing the pigment, and we're checking for the second session to be ready.
Nice. So basically the first session, I believe that it's going to be, say, like the given idea how you're going to look
Yes.
like. Couple of days on the line, it's going to start it to be faded. And then once you come back to us, it will be almost ready. So on the second session, you will see 70 to 80% of the result. The third session, it's always mandatory to do it because therefore we're going to have all those correction that is happening. And together with us at Skills, you don't have to worry at all because that's what we always seek for. It's the value. So we are there actually as we started this episode speaking about its value, speaking about its change. So you don't have to worry about those parameters because we are the qualified people on the ground. We take this hurdle, we take this responsibility in our shoulder to make sure that not only from a first, second, or third session that you look good, you would have to look good for lifetime. Because we always believe that when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you change, and when you change, our life will change. So basically, that is one of the most beautiful things that is happening all throughout with us guys here at Skills. When from a haircut or from fixing eyebrow or from fixing something, how the impact that it's really giving and adding touch to the people, that's what's really make it very overwhelming for me to be like a celebrated treatment that right now we are doing, because it's really helping people to feel better, and that is really reflecting back on us, and it boosts up your self-esteem. Like
Definitely.
How's the people's impact on the phone?
Well, I mean, because
Before and after,
during
like-
the consultation on their first visit, they always come to you and like, they're very shy, they're very like not confident, but then after first to second session, you feel like they become more talkative, because now they see the difference.
Agreed.
They look more, they shine more, because it's some people, they might think they just like fake hair and dots, but for some people it really makes a difference.
Yeah, most
It's
especially
their life,
Yeah, most especially when we play in an artistic way the pigments, and then we started to place it where it looks like too close to natural, where people really cannot believe that can be true. So how did you encounter the people's feeling when they come to you before you start, and then when the result appears? So how's the joy on their face?
So when they come to me, they actually too much question, what it's look like. And then when I finish the first session, they will tell, "Oh man, you did very good job." And you will see when they go outside, they will take selfie,
Nice.
and then with a smile with their face.
I agree on that, man. I've encountered this. Some people, even from a haircut, like once we finish, because we are exist for the different level of quality, and we are
the
exist
people who
really
seek,
for
yeah.
yes, for those who seek for. It's not just haircut for them, it's more beyond. Then when they can imagine themselves, but they cannot believe somebody can deliver it. In many occasions when I did, and then they will stand like really their chest up straight away. So I can really imagine, and most especially we encountered those kind of feelings recently when some people finish their third session and then immediately they start take selfies inside of the shop and then giving us hugs. With the guy that he has a little bit, alopecia was like really emotional for me when he come up and then he hugged you, Francis, and he was so happy. These impact, guys, what keeps us going for real. So I think also one of the other benefits that people can really claim when they come to us all the time, because we do have the skills of a barber background, and also we do have the skills of the stylist, the artist who can really make it different from the haircut itself. So to us, it's always not just haircut, it's way beyond. Mix that together with the scalp micropigmentation, I think the value will be always different, Francis, right? So how's that help you, and how's that going to reflect on the people when you become the guy who know how to cut hair, who know how to place the line, who know how to place the needle around the process? How's that helps you when it comes to doing the service on the spot for the stressed people?
See, as a stylist or a barber and skills, we train well in the highest quality standard about the detailing
Agree.
for the follicles, hairlines, hair growth, and that give me advantage to do the SMP.
Well, I'm really goosebumped about that because we really trained very hard, and I remember how many times that you were
Yeah,
really
that's true.
stressing, and you come to the point where you really don't want to do it anymore. But then we made it. I'm proud of this moment. Actually, it's reflecting most especially with our latest client when he came and he really have a lot of concerns when it comes to the backside of his head because the surgery was like really big, and then therefore. You managed to explain to him how much we are particular. Even with haircut, we could fix it, and then we show him the result before and after. Even with Caesar, then once we did the pigments, how he really managed to see a complete change, and he couldn't believe from first session how things changed for him. And one more thing to remember so that we can cover on this episode, what about the risk factor, guys? Like, Dale, what is the risk factor? Most of the people have concern about it.
See, I will be honest with you. Like, if you say like SMP is definitely one of the best hair loss treatment, like you can consider the least amount of risk at all. Because as I've said, it's a non-invasive procedure. Most of the risk factors associated with that one is just to minimal infection or inflammation, as I again told you, if the client it's not really participating enough. And also rare cases of, pigment irritation or allergic reactions. This is very rare. I mean, it's probably like 0.1%.
Yeah, I remember during our search when we were working for the past couple of
They
months.
make a lot of studies for that.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the result, it was really fascinating. So even when we were talking about comparing it between the tattoo and that actually is SMP, it's even better than the tattoo. Even its pain, it's less, right?
And also that's what they say, like, all the risk factors associated with SMP, it can be managed and prevented, most especially if you are, getting it done by a licensed and educated practitioner.
Yeah,
By means,
agree.
what I say is because when you are educated and licensed, that it means you follow the highest standards for hygiene protocol.
Yeah.
You only use like sanitized tools and needles, as well as your inks, are all certified for the government health authority. So by that, you probably make it even to 0.1%.
Yeah.
So all of it is like really controlled. So that's why it's the best out there.
Agree. I mean, for those who's really thinking like, it might be risky, I don't know where to go, all I can tell you, it's very simple. You always seek for value instead of seeking for a price. Go do the extra work, search more, have the people who have their name on the market. It's important to know who's going to play your permanent treatment that is going to stick with you forever.
And change your life.
And it's going to, it's going to change your life. So choose the licensed people, make sure that these people are on the floor, they know what they're doing, as well as choose the people who's really making the extra work. So here on this place, which is, we call it skills, we manage to have its name reflecting to its result. So I'm the guy who's sitting always in the top of the work, making sure that my team are qualified, my place is certified, as well as we've done all the extra miles in order for us to deliver the value, being the people who surround you with every single required a bit of information in order for you to be happy, so that we can really inspire the change when it comes to our marketplace, when it comes to the result that it's on you, when it comes to ourselves, in order for the change to reflect on you and that will reflect back on us. I think we've managed to cover all for this
Yeah,
episode.
everything really.
For any another question, guys, any extra question that you have,
We're
feel
always
free
here.
to leave a comment below. Thank you so much for Francis, all the hard work, man. I appreciate your talent. I'm glad that you become where you become nowadays. And I'm sure the way that you've already changed many people's life, you're going to change and inspire more. And you will be another inspiration for a lot of people to come on the line. Dale, thank you
Yeah.
for the many years working
Most
with me
welcome,
and
man.
doing all this
Yeah.
extra miles when it comes to the background and you know all the treatments that we do.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
I appreciate you guys for all the work. Thank you so much
Thank
also
you.
for the time being
Pleasure.
here on
Nice
this
talk.
episode. And yes, indeed, it's nice talk and it's a skills talk. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave any comments below. I will be there to answer in case if you have any concerns. Also, let me know if you are interested for any another topic so I might select it for the next one. And I wish you have a good day.